All right, morning everyone. Welcome to another episode of Market Trading. I'm your host, Tone Vays. Slow transition to the Tone Vays political channel. Lots of volatility in the Bitcoin world. I did a video this morning. Hey, Satoshi, look at the camera. There he goes. The cutest dog ever. I am, of course, at Doug's place here in Miami, and I'm heading off to Panama tomorrow and then El Salvador. Let's go straight to screen share. Oh wait, before I do, just got the new Bear Woods bottles. Man, it's becoming more and more professional. This is great. You get these little cards that explain everything. It tells you the patent. It tells you how to start aging the bottle. Right here at the top, it tells you what it is. What kind of wood it is. This is what do we got here? It's heavy char, bourbon-soaked American oak wooden rod inside the barrel. Right there, this is the Vays batch, bottled on the 22nd. It has not yet been opened to start aging. So check these out. I think the video should be in the video description. You can now order these online. Eventually, they'll be at a liquor store near you. Absolutely awesome. Winston, thanks for joining. Let's see if I recognize any names. I see Mel. We have our moderator Q&A Telegram chat, so feel free to post stuff there. Okay. Let's go to screen share. So this is March. I am speaking later today. It is not too late to come and join. I think they're having a 2-for-1 ticket sale. Epic Talks Miami. You can just click on that. It'll take you to their website. It's an incredible event happening tonight at SLS, South Beach, 7 p.m. I'm going to probably be getting a bite to eat right before that at 5 p.m. on South Beach. So if you have my direct connect, you can DM me. Yep, there's Doug and Erica Gemma. She'll be there as well, moderating, I believe. It'll be a fun little discussion. It's a great event. So come and check it out. Shout out to Melitza for hosting these every month. Oh, I already had it open from before. Oh, okay, that's okay. We did some streams on the Financial Summit YouTube channel. We do streams there every morning. The dates are now published. This event is a go. It's going to be absolutely awesome in the Maldives. You can go ahead and sign up and register. Check out the website, check out the videos, and follow us on YouTube as well. These are the villas we have pre-reserved. If you sign up early, you can get an on-the-water villa for no extra price, a little bit of an upcharge for a same exact one with a private pool. And we also have some larger rooms on the edge. They're not on top of the water. And these have all been sold out already. If you sign up late, you may get stuck on the middle of the island. You'll still have a great time, but if Instagram matters to you, you really want to sign up early and get one of those. All right, let's look at the charts. We were on pace to hit like 75,000 later today. And then there was Coinbase news, which kind of screwed everything up. So right now we are sitting at just under $69,000. We are on an MRI warning candle. If we end up inside this box pre-halving, I will be looking to take massive profits. If we continue to consolidate into the halving, I will treat the halving as a point in time similar to the last halving, where we consolidated into the halving and then just took off like a bandit right after the halving. So if we go back to that last halving, oh, I went too far. Or did I? No, I did not go too far. I think I went too far. No, I went too far. I went 2016. Yeah, here we go. If we go to that last halving, because I don't have them marked. If we go to that last halving right here, the halving took place around May 10th, right here. May 20th. No, it's April 20th. May 11th, right here. So this is where the halving happened. And we consolidated for like another month into July, a month and a half. And then we took off to the upside. So if we do not rally into a critical top over $78,000, I will consider the halving as a bullish event. Yeah, how many people are watching this right now? All right, 300. I'm not going to talk too much about the price. I talked about the price this morning. Allocation chart remains 100% bullish. I will be at the El Salvador halving party. If you go to, again, Coinbase.com calendar, you can see the halving party. You can go to April. You will see that I'm in Dubai. I may or may not go to London. I have to double check on that. And I will be at BitBlock Boom. I'll be speaking at Token 2049. We'll see how that goes. I saw the speaker list. It's going to be, it will be painful for me. Let's put it that way. Blockchain Life is a great event as well, so I'll be there. Okay. Short-term time frames. This is how much Bitcoin was bought and sold. I think this is going to be a positive week. Last week was really, really a bit of an anomaly. I don't think this much Bitcoin out of the ETFs is going to be sold again in the near future. I think we're about to have a massive bull market. What is the Coinbase news? The judge dismissed a Coinbase appeal. Yeah, Coinbase versus SEC. Or Coinbase appeal to like dismiss the case. So it's not great for Coinbase. And yeah, so this is the El Salvador halving party. I'll be there. Come and join me there. Short-term charts on Bitcoin. Today is now shaping up to be a rough day. It was looking so good. We were on the 1-hour chart. We breached a serious swing high. You just watched the video this morning from Financial Summit channel, and we were doing that video. And it wasn't even a 9 a.m. candle. It was right before this candle began, right there, and then this happened. It was almost a $2,000 pop during our show. And I was super, super bullish even before this move started. And of course, it's a massive move. It is double what the risk was going to be. So obviously, once you're making money, then you're risking. You need to set a break-even stop loss. So even though I said I would take a massively long leverage trade up, that I would have exited that trade a long time ago already. Well, right, but you forgot about the part where you have to set a break-even stop loss once you're making more than you're risking. It's something I say all the time, and it's something that I teach in my videos. The moment you are making more money than you were originally ready to risk, you have to set a break-even stop loss, or maybe even start taking profit on the trade. That's the only way to survive in trading. And obviously, I had no idea that the court is going to make the Coinbase announcement. The moment the announcement came, the price just tanked. And I think it tanked unreasonably. So I don't think it's going to keep going down for a while. Like, I don't. I think it's going to turn around. All right, that's all my talk about Bitcoin. Let me know what you guys want to talk about. Remember in the last video where I said that people in the world, especially in the West, are too incompetent to manage nuclear reactors? I clearly should have said too incompetent to captain a ship under a bridge. It's everyone also knows Yeah, man, I I had no idea who the mayor of Baltimore was prior to this incident, and now I do. It's absolutely it's gonna, let's just say it's gonna be interesting. Like, his speech was not very inspiring that that bridge would be rebuilt in my lifetime. Let's put it that way. The incompetence uh, in this world for critical infrastructure is at such a scary level that you almost want to go and live like a hippie in the middle of the woods, because like it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I mean, I've seen the videos of the whole bridge thing. I haven't kept up with it. I really don't care. I mean, I care. People die. That's unfortunate. But um, for me, there are way more important issues, like the war in Ukraine, the genocide in Gaza, and I'm going to refer to it as a genocide in Gaza. I rubbed a lot of people the wrong way in my last video with the following statement that every Israeli wants every Palestinian dead. Maybe that was a little too far. Um, maybe that statement went a little too far. A better statement would have been every Israeli politician wants every Palestinian dead. That would have been what I should have said. But considering that the polls of whether the Israeli people feel that what is happening in Gaza is has gone a little too far, is just right, or the Israeli military is not doing enough to solve the problems of Israel. I believe 75 to 78% of Israelis feel that the Israeli military is not being ruthless enough in Gaza to protect Israel. And hence, yes, it's not every Israeli, but 78+% of them. And I can't be on board with that. Not at all. But aren't you Jewish? Well, yeah, that is correct, right? And just because you are a white-skinned person doesn't mean you have to be on board with the Nazi swastika agenda, right? Me being Jewish is completely irrelevant with what the state of Israel is doing in Gaza. They are completely independent things, right? The religion that I was born into has nothing to do with my opinions and what people with guns are doing to people that don't have guns. And 98% of the people in Gaza that are dying are people that don't have guns, by people with guns supplied to them by the biggest military-industrial complex in the world. So please don't confuse Jewish people with Israelis that live in Israel. I've never even gone to Israel. I've never, of all the 50 countries I've been to, I have never been to Israel. So yeah, these are completely different things. But don't you think the USA is too much under the AIPAC lobby? Yeah, of course. Absolutely. Right? Absolutely. Now, I will say the AIPAC lobby, so the confusion comes with the fact that like 80 or 90% of the people in Israel happen to be Jewish and are Jewish. But please don't confuse, and no one should confuse, the the mission of Israelis with I don't want to say the mission of Jews, because I don't think Jews have a mission. I don't have a mission to change the world in the into the Jewish faith. I mean, some religions are different than others, but yeah, these are completely different things. Completely, the agenda of Israel and an agenda of, you can't even say there is an agenda of the Jewish people. Most Jewish people are not religious, like they're not practicing their religion. How would you address people who don't trust civilian death counts from the Gaza Ministry of Health? I mean, go down there and see for yourself. I mean, just go watch some of the non-Western media channels, right? Go watch some documentaries from 2018, 2019, like before this even happened. Well, right, the state of Israel, most of the people that live in the state of Israel are Jewish. Yes, that's correct, right? Yeah, most Israelis are Jewish. In fact, almost all of them are. Like 95%, probably more. But if you poll Jewish people that don't live in Israel, you're going to get very different views on their opinions on Gaza. It'll be closer to 50-50. Closer to 50-50. Israelis call their country the Jewish state. I don't like that terminology. Yeah, it's unfortunate that they call it that. I think it's inappropriate, right? Because now they're classifying people like me as supporters of the Israeli state, which I'm not, and I never was. Any documentaries I would recommend? Yeah, there's a documentary called Gaza Fight for Freedom. It's very good. You can look it up. Right there. It's amazing it's still on YouTube. So this is an older documentary. It was published in 2019. It was filmed in 2018. And I think everyone should watch this. You can also listen to interviews from reporters that have been in Gaza. Actually, even Jewish reporters that have been in Gaza. It was a great interview. It was on Kim Iverson's channel. I forgot who it was with. Man, Kim Iverson. Let me see. It would have been like about a month ago. If I go to her videos, it should show me that I've watched it. Kim Iverson has a great channel. I don't watch it that often, but it's a great channel. There's only so much you can watch, you know. I have no problem with the Israeli state as long as they can be at peace with their neighbors. But let's see where this goes. Man, I don't know where that video went. Hold on, give me one more second here. Hold on. Iverson. I'm searching my off-topic group chat. I know I posted it there. I posted that interview there when it was out, but yeah, it's gonna be hard for me to find it. I'm sorry, guys. I really wish I had it handy. She interviewed a guy who is Jewish, and he was there years ago covering, you know, what is happening. And he like he wasn't sure if he should tell people that he was Jewish, and he told a few people, and then he said he got, called into the Hamas office, and he says they politely informed him that he shouldn't walk around telling people that he's Jewish because some people may take it the wrong way, and for his safety, they advised him not to do that. But he says they were very like respectful and courteous, and they had no problem with him being there and doing investigative reporting on what's going on. It was a very, very interesting interview. Now, of course, you can say that the guy is a liar, and that never happened, but there's only so far we can go with our assumptions. It was a really good interview. Like he was just explaining the situation in Gaza because he was there reporting on it for years. I am going to be turning this into a political channel, 100%. I didn't really talk much about the Coinbase news. I think the Coinbase news is being made out to be more important than it was. And I think price will start going up again. All right, I'm not going to find it this way. Maybe it wasn't like on her. Maybe it was like on her live. Like, I have no idea. Man, like there's so much stuff that like comes through. You watch it. Oh yeah, she doesn't do live. Maybe it was here. Hold on. Oh no, these are all super old. Yeah, I don't know. Sorry, guys. I thought it was a really good interview by her. She does a lot of good interviews. I just don't have time to watch them. Give me a second. Maybe I'll find it. I'm kind of curious what Seyfuddin Ammous has to say about the Israel-Palestine conflict because he is Palestinian. And he also is not shy about political topics. I'm a little behind on some of the Ukraine situation. I'm like 3 days behind. Been really busy here in Miami. And I'm a little behind on the Israel-Gaza situation. So I don't know if a ceasefire has started because they're discussing it. And I also don't know if Israel went into Rafah and killed an additional 30,000 people or not. I don't know. I will catch up on that on my flight to Panama tomorrow. That's on my Panama flight list, is to catch up on everything that happened in these two military conflicts from Sunday night up until, well, today. Man, just like scroll. Maybe I went too far back on the scrolling thing. Anyway, sorry guys, can't find it. But yeah, that documentary, Gaza Fight for Freedom from 2019, was very good. Very good. It's worth watching for sure. Worth watching for sure. Okay, Russia, Ukraine. Let's go there. I don't know where the Israel-Gaza conflict stands. The last time, and I got really frustrated, right? So in the first month of Israel-Gaza, I was a lot more neutral. Like, well, what Hamas did on October 7th is inexcusable. Israel has to do something about it. But it has gotten way too far, and it looks like it's not going to stop. And I've educated myself quite a bit on the situation between Israel and Gaza in the last 3 months. So it's been 4 months? It's been 4 months since the October 7th attack by Hamas on Israel. And while there was lots of sympathy for Israel and what happened to them on October 7th, for me, that's completely gone, and it's been gone for months. And Israel has went above and beyond what is reasonable in terms of payback for what happened. And the worst part is Israel is ready to triple down on what they've already done. Hamas rejected to trade 40 captives for 700 terrorists. That's not exactly how it works. The 700 terrorists, as you call them, are the majority of those are randomly arrested Palestinians on the border of Israel, just so Israel would have a higher number to trade for the 40 Israeli captives. Israel doesn't give two shits about the 40 Israeli captives in Gaza. They've already, like, they themselves, like, killed many of them already. So Israel couldn't care less. And it's a lot more complicated than that. Hamas would trade them if they would get a proper ceasefire out of it. But Israel has zero interest in creating a ceasefire. So Hamas has zero interest in trading the 40 captives. It's not complicated. Could I define reasonable? Yeah, anything that doesn't slaughter children in hospital. You know, let's put the line. Let's put the reasonable line anywhere below. You know, walking into a hospital dressed as women, executing people on ventilators, killing doctors operating on children, and the children all at the same time. Anything below that, we can discuss whether it's reasonable. It's not a high bar. Well, Sub-Zero, see, I would agree with you, right? Unfortunately, when I was trying to find these polls, they're a little hard to find. When you poll the Israeli society, if Israel military should go into Rafah and slaughter another 30,000 people, about 80% of them say yes, Israel is not killing enough Palestinians. That is literally the view of over 80% of Israelis. It's not the view of 80% of Jews around the world, but it is the view of 80% of Israelis. So, yes, it's not all Israelis, but when your number is in the 80% range, I tend to use a general term encompassing everyone. It's kind of like I say everyone in Russia voted for Putin. In reality, not everyone in Russia voted for Putin. Only 87% did. Like, when your number is in the 80s, it's very different than 50-50. Yeah, I am very familiar with the Hannibal Doctrine. When you go back and you review what happened on October 7th, it's very clear that the Hannibal Doctrine was activated. Misha, I agree with you. Every civilian death in Palestine is classified as this 3-year-old will eventually become a Hamas terrorist. So that 3-year-old is a target, a military target. That's the policy, basically. I don't know the details of what happened with that bridge. I saw somewhere that the captain was actually Ukrainian, but I'm not sure. I don't know if that's real or fake news. I have not gotten confirmation on that. 80% of the population got the jab. In Israel, yes, I think it was way more than 80% of the population. Do you think Russia could attack the Baltic states after Ukraine? Yes, I do. I do think that is possible. I think that is possible. And the Baltic states could easily avoid being attacked by Russia by not doing the same stupid shit that the Georgian politicians did and the Ukrainian politicians did. Like, if the Baltic states continue to follow American advice, yes, they could very well be taken over by Russia in a very similar way to Ukraine. I do not rule that out at all, and this could be easily avoided if these countries would elect leaders that care more about the people in these countries and keeping them alive than about the American agenda of weakening Russia and the West European agenda. So yes, I'm not ruling it out. I'm not ruling out that, well, Estonia is, yeah, no, they can all be gone. Bring in your comments, guys. Well, the operation in Gaza needs to be a lot more similar to the operation Russia is doing in Ukraine, where 90 to 95% of targets and deaths are Ukrainian military affiliated people. And of course, it's a war zone, so innocent people are going to get killed. But 90% plus of the people being killed in Ukraine are Ukrainian military affiliated. This is the opposite what is happening in Gaza. In Gaza, 90% plus of the people being killed are not affiliated with Hamas. They're just innocent people. And that stems from the fact that the Israeli military is clearly not competent enough to manage the situation by only going after Hamas leadership. Either they're incompetent or this is done on purpose. It's kind of like me trying to figure out if a scammer is an idiot or is doing it on purpose, right? Like, it's almost irrelevant, right? You have someone promoting a scam coin. How much, I guess, investigative reporting am I going to do to figure out if the person promoting a scam is the scammer who understands he's promoting a scam, or a total buffoon who doesn't realize he's promoting a scam? Now, in some cases, like Hex and Richard Hart, it's obvious. But in other cases, like Trayvon James, for example, and BitConnect, it's not obvious whether he knew this was a Ponzi scheme or he was totally clueless and didn't know it was a Ponzi scheme, right? But does it matter is the question, right? It doesn't. To me, it's less important of whether the IDF, the Israeli military, is basically executing 90% civilians on purpose, or if it's not on purpose and they're just not competent enough to find a way to only go after the military in Gaza. And by the way, it's also possible that it's impossible to only target Hamas military, or whatever you want to call them, right? They're not an organized military, right? So ideally, you want the Israeli military to go into Gaza and only attack and kill, Hamas affiliated people that have a gun in their hand. Okay, but this may also be impossible to do. So if you understand that that is impossible to do, you need to find another route to solve your problem with Palestinians, because your solution of executing everyone is not going to go very well in this world. What about suggestions that the citizens of Gaza elected Hamas and should suffer the consequences? Sure. By that same logic, every American should suffer the consequences of electing Joe Biden. Right? To me, the current administration is one of the reasons why the genocide in Gaza is still happening. The current administration is the reason why 500,000 Ukrainians have died. They're the reason why we can start World War III with China. So by your logic, every American is responsible for electing Joe Biden, even though we all know it was a fraudulent election. Yes, I agree. Satoshi dog. Do I see any similarities between Ukraine, Russia, and Israel, Gaza? No. I see complete counter opposites. I don't see any similarities there at all. It's an inverse of the situation. Okay, it's an inverse of the situation. The Ukraine-Gaza situation or Ukraine-Palestine situation is over the last several decades, Israel has taken over more and more of the land, pushing the Palestinians, whether they're West Bank Palestinians or Gaza Palestinians, into horrible, unlivable conditions, like encouraging the people to fight back so that something like this can happen. In Ukraine, it was the opposite, right? So in Ukraine, after the overthrow of the democratically elected president, it was the Russians in Ukraine that were marginalized the way the Palestinians have been marginalized in Israel. Now, once again, I am open to debates that the Palestinians deserve to be marginalized in Israel. The Palestinians deserve to be kicked out of historic, I guess, Jewish lands by the current Israelis. Like, we can debate whether this is the right thing to do or not. Now, what I don't want to, what I have no more interest in debating is whether there is a genocide going on or not. That was certainly debatable 3 months ago, whether people of Gaza are under genocide, and South Africa has proved, to me anyway, that there is a genocide going on in Gaza. So it's the opposite, right? Everything is the opposite between Russia, Ukraine, and Israel, Gaza. So Russian military went in, and Russian military is being very professional while still open to potential negotiation. The Israel situation is the complete opposite of that. Their entry into Gaza, guns blazing, has not been professional at all at any stage. And Israel has zero interest in negotiations, zero interest in a ceasefire, zero interest in even getting humanitarian aid in. Where the Russia-Ukraine situation, Russia has accepted, like, the most amount of Ukrainians that fled Ukraine for safety fled into Russia. Okay, so, and Russia is, will not be sending these Ukrainians back to the front line like Moldova is doing right now. So the Russia-Ukraine military conflict is literally 180-degree different than the Israeli-Gaza version. Also, while this conflict is going on, Israel is losing all respect and all diplomacy around the world. Meanwhile, Russia is gaining respect and diplomacy around the world. So Russia is coming out of this conflict by having more friends on their side, and Israel is going to be completely isolated to the point where I think they're going to lose their country. Everything is flip-flopped in these conflicts. Guys, if you want to listen to crypto, you got to follow the Financial Summit. This channel is not going to be doing much price and technical analysis. If this stuff is not interesting to you at all, you need to go and watch the Financial Summit YouTube channel. It's right here. Financial Summit. We do videos every day. Every day. Financial Summit. I'm waiting for the day where all the comments are, Tone, stop talking about the Bitcoin price. Talk about things like this. I'm on a carnivore plus fruit diet. I do not eat vegetables. I do eat fruit. Great show with Socrates earlier today. I watched that. This is the channel to watch. If you're following me for advice on, or advice, not advice, for commentary on markets and trading, this is the channel. By the way, on the Financial Summit Twitter handle, we are going to, we're doing spaces. Let me retweet this, actually. We're going to do spaces. Oh, awesome. 6,000 followers. That's great. We're doing spaces later today. Hopefully, Joe Calasari joins, and he'll tell us what happened with Coinbase on spaces. I do keep an eye on the price of Bitcoin. Yep, it's possible we bottomed. I think this Coinbase news is short-term and temporary. How much meat should you be eating per day? I mean, look, it depends on your weight and size. I like to eat somewhere around 700 grams of meat. Somewhere between 700 grams and 1,000 grams. That's my go-to for meat. I haven't, let me see here. Hold on. Oh, man. Where'd it go? What a Word document. 1 second. So I'll publish this eventually. I haven't looked at this actually in a while. This is my steak eating guide. I know we're all over the place. I'll throw the link in the description. It's not done yet. I should probably make sure that no one can, I don't think anybody can edit this, so that's my steak eating guide. There's a link in the description. Steak eating guide. Eating. It's not ready for publication. Please don't share it. Like, even the pictures, I'm going to make them better. Like this I took from the internet. This I put together myself. I need to get a... I mean, I just didn't like any of the... I wanted to know exactly where my steaks come from that I eat. And then I kind of ordered the meat that I eat. And then I try to do a little bit of a deep dive into each steak and how to pick out the proper steak. So I enjoy doing things like this. Let's move on from Israel-Gaza. It gets me so frustrated talking about that. Way more frustrated than the Russia-Ukraine situation, actually. The Israel-Gaza is more frustrating to me, personally. So there was a terrorist attack in Moscow that it sounds like the Ukrainian SBU is taking responsibility for, or they've taken responsibility for most other terrorist attacks. Russia is trying to label the Ukrainian SBU, which is like the Russian KGB and the American CIA, as a terrorist organization. And if you want my opinion, I believe that Ukrainian SBU had a hand in the terror attack in Moscow. That's my personal opinion. There is some evidence to this that Russia is presenting. I don't know if everyone's going to believe it or not. Russia was able to extract a lot of information from the four guys that were shooting up the Russian theater. Obviously, they used interrogation techniques that most people around the world will not approve of. But it sounds like, or it seems like, they got some critical information that led to numerous arrests in Istanbul, Turkey, where the operation had an office. So Istanbul and the Istanbul authorities, they know terrorism well as well. So they immediately arrested the people based on Russian information. The attackers came from a country called Tajikistan, which is down here. It is below, it's right below Kazakhstan, next to Uzbekistan. Wish it was easier to see country names here so I can point to it. It's over here. There it is, Tajikistan. Okay, so it looks like I don't have all the facts. I can just tell you how I see the situation today, but over the next 3 days, I'm going to try to follow up. Obviously, the money for this came from the United States. That's the ultimate financial backer, was the United States. That's obvious. It's incredible how within minutes of the incident, America came out with a statement that Ukraine had nothing to do with this. And I'm like, how do you know? Right? So my view is these 4 terrorists were recruited using the Ukrainian embassy in Tajikistan with office operations out of Istanbul, Turkey. And there were a few more levels of obfuscation, but ultimately, roads will lead to the Ukrainian SBU. That's like their CIA, FBI of Ukraine, who financed and assisted with the operation with the money that America provides to Ukraine. That is my current opinion on the situation, and hopefully I am way more informed on the details, and I trust the information of those details by this weekend. Okay. All right. So the latest on Russia-Ukraine. Ukraine is in deep shit. It's really, really bad. Russia is about to go on the offensive. Everything I said 2 years ago remains identical to what I'm saying today, and everything I've said more recently. The Russian priorities are as follows: secure the regions that Russia is now claiming that are Russia. Let me drop this. So I will tell you my opinion on Russian priorities in order. In my opinion, priority number 1 is actually to, well, priority number 0 is to get this little piece of land back, because Ukraine spent the whole year talking about what kind of amazing progress they did in their counteroffensive. That was the counteroffensive. That is priority 0. Just get that back so that the West has nothing to cling to. Priority number 2 is to secure the land that Russia has annexed, because this is now Russian land, and Russia needs to be able to protect this land. And this is the land that Russia has annexed. Just like Russia is protecting Crimea, which they annexed in 2014, this is like all these little borders, right? This is Russian land according to Russia. People in this land stood all day on lines at the polls, voted like 90% for Putin, and I don't see a reason why I wouldn't trust those numbers. This is priority 1, secure this land. Now, the next priority, this is where it gets a little bit dicey. Russia has to also protect their land on their border, okay, like Belgorod. So I understand why Russia suddenly decided that it's a top priority to annex the Sumy region here. That is the Sumy region. To annex this land in order to put a bigger buffer between Ukrainian artillery and Russian cities inside Russia. And then also take Kharkov. Taking Kharkov will not be easy. They've already went after their infrastructure and took out their electric grid. But Kharkov has a lot of, Ukrainians that are more pro-Ukrainian than pro-Russia, unlike the other regions. So Russia has decided that this has become a top priority in acquiring, mostly because they don't like their citizens getting killed. Now, if Ukraine was not shelling Belgorod, this probably would not be a high priority, and Kharkov would still have electricity. That is my opinion, my complete opinion, that, again, Ukraine hitting, Sunday morning farmers markets that kids go to buy ice cream at, attacking these civilian farmers markets is what caused Kharkov to have no electricity. That's my opinion, okay? I think Russia would have left this region alone if Ukraine didn't decide to bomb and attack Russian cities. It's my opinion. Now, what is Russia is not going to leave alone? If right now Russia is going to be focused on Kharkov, I think that this is a higher priority, and Russia will annex Mykolaiv in order to go after Odessa. I cannot envision how this conflict ends without Odessa becoming a Russian city once again. That's Odessa. Now, the goal is to take Odessa. You can't take Odessa without taking Mykolaiv, okay? And so you have to take Mykolaiv and then take Odessa. Now, why do you take Odessa? There's multiple reasons why Russia is going to take Odessa. First off, since there is no negotiation on the table. At this point, Russia has lost too many men. Russia doesn't have too many women in their military. Russia has lost too many men to walk away from this with only these regions from spoils of war. They're going to take this. That's one reason, right? That's not the only reason. I can list you probably 5 reasons. Let's see how many reasons I can provide as to why Russia is going to take Odessa. If they don't take Odessa, I would be incredibly surprised. I would be incredibly surprised. I mean, there has to be videos of Joe Biden begging on his hands and knees in front of Putin not to take Odessa, for Putin not to take Odessa. I don't see it, right? I don't see how this ends without Russia taking Odessa. I don't see it. Like a complete capitulation, like if all of a sudden Zelensky is overthrown and I don't even know who would step in. Like Zelensky is overthrown and like a Bukele-style president shows up, immediately arrests every Ukrainian SBU agent, every Ukrainian military, anyone affiliated with the Azov battalion, anyone whose ancestry stretches back to the Nazis of Germany. Like if they like do what Bukele did, like, you know, remember when they arrested 60,000 gang members? If like a Ukrainian leader comes in and arrests like 60,000 Ukrainians that are affiliated with, you know, the Nazi regime and immediately says, we have no weapons. Every single gun on Ukrainian soil has been shipped back to the United States. Every missile, we will never join NATO. We will only join the European Union if Putin gives us permission to do so. Like, if someone like that shows up to lead the Ukrainian government, then maybe there's a chance Russia will not take Odessa. I just don't see how it's not an inevitability. It may take them another 2 years, but to me, in my mind, it is inevitable that Russia takes Odessa. Now, one of the reasons is because there's still a lot of it's an historical Russian city. It still has a lot of pro-Russian support. It is a port city, removing Ukraine from having access to the Black Sea. It connects Russia to Transnistria, which is pretty much wants to be a part of Russia, and it's very hard to do without a land bridge. I hope you guys know what it means to say land bridge. So here is the Crimean Bridge, which is a bridge similar to the one, not similar, but way properly constructed, unlike the one that just collapsed in Baltimore. That's a bridge. A land bridge is what Russia did. So prior to these regions becoming Russia, Russia only had a regular bridge to Crimea. Now there is a land bridge to Crimea. Land bridge means you can get to a place by land. But like Alaska and Russia used to have a land bridge. Now they don't. Okay? So Russia needs some kind of direct connect to Transnistria. Okay? Russia needs to remove Ukraine's access to the Black Sea because Ukraine continues to, you know, try to destroy the Russian fleet that is really not doing all that much with the war effort anyway. So all these reasons, Russia would now be touching Moldova in case Moldova decides to do stupid shit like Georgia did in 2008 and Ukraine did since 2014. They would be touching Romania. Sorry, that's Romania. They would be, my bad. Yeah, sorry, the Bulgaria. I always get them backwards. Screw, man, that's bad. They would be touching Romania in case Romania gets any stupid ideas to do what Ukraine did or Georgia did. So this is a huge geographical advantage for Russia. So I just don't see how they're not going to take Odessa. All right, so Phil, Putin has never been a World Economic Forum young global leader. Putin didn't even know who the hell Klaus Schwab was when Schwab showed up in Russia trying to tell Putin about the book that he's written. It is complete propaganda that Putin wants nothing to do with the World Economic Forum. Putin is anti-World Economic Forum, and he was certainly never a young global leader trained by Klaus Schwab. Benny is asking completely off-topic question. Why are so many people getting diagnosed with cancer these days, such a big increase? So I can't prove this. I believe that the massive rise in cancer is our consumption of seed oils. I believe seed oils are the biggest contributor to cancer. Like skin cancer didn't exist before the modern diet. Like it almost didn't exist. The sun is not what's giving you skin cancer. It's what the sun does to your body when your body is ingesting shit you shouldn't be eating. So is the sun causing skin cancer? The simpleton answer is yes, the sun is causing the skin cancer, but because you are putting shit in your body that is reacting to the sun, giving you cancer. That's my non-professional opinion. Okay, I think if seed oils are globally banned, like I don't use sunblock at all. I never use sunblock. I try not to, lay on a beach for too long, and I have gotten burned, but I do not use sunblock personally. This is not medical advice, not any kind of advice, right? I'm just telling you what I do. I do not even own sunblock. What I do is I do not eat seed oils. And I am not scared of the sun. And I think that, to me, putting sunblock on has a higher probability of giving me cancer than being in the sun. This sunblock itself there's been research papers that the ingredients in sunblock are cancer causing. We're ingesting way too much stuff that gives us cancer, and when you ingest a lot of seed oils, you don't want to be out in the sun. Okay. Mike V believes that Putin is evil. I don't believe that Putin is evil. I believe Putin is probably the most moderate, nicest person that could be leading Russia, because the 10 guys that want his job, that have a possibility of getting his job behind them, are a lot more ruthless and a lot more evil than Putin. So the last thing anyone should pray for is a regime change in Russia, because a regime change in Russia will put someone in charge that can hit that button real quick. So this is what Russia is, I believe what Russia is looking to do. But if you look at this, you have to recognize that there's a problem here. You have to shorten the front line for your defense. Okay, I'll repeat. As a country, you need to shorten the front line for your defense. This is a very long border to defend. This is a much shorter border to defend. So I think it's very possible that all this land will eventually become Russia. This. So that you are actually surrounding Kiev in case another American puppet gets elected and decides to do something stupid. And now Kiev is almost surrounded. And I don't think Russia wants to go any further west than this. I think this is as far as Russia goes. Now, what about the Baltics? So remember what I said about Transnistria? Russia wants a land bridge to Transnistria. Russia wants a land bridge to Kaliningrad, right here. Okay? Especially now that Finland and Sweden stupidly joined NATO, there will be NATO artillery and military and navy all through the Baltic Sea. And Russia is going to want a land bridge to Kaliningrad, or for Belarus to have a land bridge to Kaliningrad. This is very difficult to do. In order to do this, Russia would need to take a chunk of Lithuania. Now, Lithuanians are, unlike Ukraine, Lithuania is a historic nation. Okay? 100 years ago, Lithuania was pretty massive. So Ukraine is a country that was created in 1991. Lithuania was a major European power 100 years ago. And at one point, it was basically a rival to Russia. So when Russia says most of your country, Ukraine, is actually ancient Russian land, they can't say that about Lithuania. Lithuania does have some historic, what's the word I'm looking for here? Agency. Historic agency on their land. So the only way Russia could take a chunk of Lithuania or all of Lithuania is if Lithuania does something stupid. And Lithuania has been on the verge of doing something stupid since this conflict began. So Lithuania is really close to pissing off Russia to the point of, we're going to take a piece of Lithuania, and if you don't like it, there's nothing you can do about it. And if you don't stop doing your stupid shit, we're going to take more of your land. That could happen. Okay? But how does Russia get into Lithuania, right? Like, Russia is trying to give Belarus as much autonomy as they can. See, Belarus is on very good terms with Russia. So not only is Russia has zero interest in attacking and taking land from Belarus, Russia is trying to help Belarus as much as they can because Belarus is helping Russia as much as they can. And by the way, a lot of people in Belarus are not happy about this. A lot of people in Belarus are anti-Russia. But the majority of the people in Belarus, including their president, are pro-Russia. Now, Latvia, unlike Lithuania, is much more Russian intermingled. So not like Ukraine, but close to it. Like I said, my grandparents lived in Latvia. My grandma is buried in Latvia. My grandfather was a fisherman right here in Latvia, right here. My grandfather is from Jūrmala. It's pronounced Jūrmala. I've spent lots of time in the city, okay? And this part of Latvia, just like Ukraine, the part over here in Latvia is very Latvian, and I'm not going to say anti-Russia, but not Russians. There's not many Russians here, but there was a lot of Russians here, just like Ukraine, where there was a lot of Russians on the bordering Russia. There's a lot of Russians here. And if Latvia decides to join Lithuania in doing something stupid, like putting a nuclear missile aimed at St. Petersburg, Russia is going to just say, we're going to blow up half your country. And Russia can easily annex this part of Latvia exactly the same that they've done with Ukraine. East part of Latvia can easily go back to Russia. Easily. Okay? Giving Russia more access right here to the Baltic Sea, and now putting Russia on the border with Lithuania, making it easier for Russia to invade Lithuania without getting Belarus involved. Okay? In fact, Latvia would be in a much more secure position for their people if, oh, I can't take this away. I'm going to draw another one. If Russia currently had a border with Lithuania, if the Latvian border was something like this, if this is where the Latvian border was, and if this land was actually Russia right now, Lithuania would probably be in a lot more trouble. I think one of the things that is saving Lithuania, because Russia is not happy with Lithuania. Latvia has not been a big asshole to Russia, and Estonia has been also not a big asshole to Russia like Lithuania has. Okay? Had Russia had access to Lithuania directly, Latvia would be a lot safer, because then Russia wouldn't have to invade Latvia to get to Lithuania, to get to Transnistria. Okay? Now, Estonia is, again, if Estonia wants to secure the future for Estonians, they should kick NATO out. If I was a leader in Estonia, I would try to exit NATO. Because, as I've stated many times, NATO does one of two things for your country. It either adds security to your country, or it puts your country in a dangerous path. Having NATO on Russia's border puts that country on a dangerous path. Belarus is a lot safer from Russian invasion, because they don't have NATO and they don't do the NATO's bidding or Western bidding. Estonia, if Estonia became neutral, I'm not saying Estonia has to suddenly put Russian military bases on their soil. If Estonia decided to kick out NATO and went neutral, we are still in the European Union, but we are no longer going to have any American military that are aggressive towards Russia. Russia and Estonia will suddenly be friends. And I don't know about your life, but I don't tend to punch my friends in the face. So Latvia and Lithuania could also do the same thing, but Lithuania is way too Western, brainwashed for that kind of thinking, and Latvia is somewhere in between. Okay? All right, I'm looking at some of your comments. Is it true that Russia has repeatedly violated Polish airspace in recent days? I don't know. It is possible that Russia has violated Polish airspace in recent days, but I don't know how that could happen other than if a missile, if Russia shoots a missile that flies over Ukrainian Polish airspace and then turns around and strikes a target in Ukraine, because there's no way Russia is going to send an airplane into Polish airspace, because that airplane would have to fly over the majority of Ukraine and then it would get shut down. Now, I will say that Russia doesn't care about Polish airspace. So if Russia wanted to violate Polish airspace, they will violate Polish airspace. And Poland is just going to have to eat it. Because the last thing Poland wants to do is start a war with Russia. So if a missile happens to fly over this edge of Polish territory, Poland needs to just stay quiet. Otherwise, there'll be 1 million Polish people getting killed the way there are 1 million Ukrainians getting killed. Again, notice how no one in Belarus is being killed. All right, I think it's time for me to get going. Yeah, it had to be a missile because it can't be a plane. Now, it's also possible that there are training exercises going on over Russian airspace right here in Kaliningrad, and it's possible that a pilot could have, flown over here and flown into Polish airspace and then flew back to Kaliningrad. That is very, very possible. So again, if that happens, Poland just has to eat it and shut up, because this is not an aggression to Poland. It's just, GPS took you a few feet extra. It's not an aggressive violation looking to kill people in Poland. But if Poland decides to make a super big deal out of it, like shut down the Russian airplane over it, that can start a war between Russia and Poland. Tone, do you think your life would have been better if you would have stayed in Russia? No, of course not. No, because you're looking into the past. You're looking into the past. Saying, do you think your life would have been better if you stayed in Russia? No, of course not. Russia was not a good place to live, to grow up in the 80s or 90s or even 2000s, right? But the question you want to ask is, will your kids' lives be better in Russia versus US going forward? That's the real question, right? And the answer is unknown. You have to wait 20 more years. And we don't know. We don't know if I moved to America when I was 10 years old, right? Let's say, well, today they're in the middle of a war, right? Let's say 10 years from now, my kids are 10 years old, right? I need to make a decision. Well, I'll make a decision before that, right? Let's say my kids are, in 5 years, my kids are 5 years old. Where do I feel my kids will be better off for the first 20 years of their life? Is the question you got to ask. And we don't know. My parents made the right decision. By the way, when my family was leaving Russia, I was supposed to go to Israel. We were supposed to go to Israel and grow up there. So it was actually kind of close. Like I could have grown up and I could have spent the last 30 years in Israel, right? So did my parents make the right decision? First decision was we need to leave Russia. And second decision is, where do we go? Do we go to Israel or do we go to America? Some people went to Israel. My family went to America. Okay? So that was also the right decision. Am I having a child? No, not that I know of. So it's not about what's in the past. It's about what's in the future. 30 years ago, no one wanted to raise their kids in the Middle East, in the UAE, because it was a desert. Today, people are moving there to raise their kids. See, I would not, I'll tell you where I will not be raising my kids. I will not be raising my kids in New York or LA or Chicago. No way. There's no way I'm raising my kids in New York, LA, or Chicago. Okay? I will take not those three cities. I would not raise my kids there. Is Moscow a better option than New York, Chicago, or LA? I don't know. Right now, with terrorist attacks, probably not. In 5 years, when this is over, and America is splitting up into 5 countries, and China, Russia, and India have a stable relationship, and everything is safe, and I don't know, maybe. Like again, look at US. You have ships running into bridges. You had a bridge over Philadelphia just collapse. Like you have an unsecure border. Like I wouldn't want to live near the Mexican border right now. I'd rather live in Mexico. If I had to choose between an American border town and Mexico City, yeah, I would rather live in Mexico City, right? Because the people that are crossing this border are not Mexicans. They're all the dangerous criminals from, other parts of Latin America. UK versus Romania. That's a tough one. I haven't spent much time in Romania. It's hard to answer. I still like Portugal. Spain's okay. All right, guys, I'm going to get going. Join us in Spaces 2 hours from now. We are doing Twitter Spaces 2 hours from now. Let's see what's going on with the price. Are we still dropping? We're kind of rallying a little bit. Rallying a little bit. El Salvador, maybe. I'm going there. I think the infrastructure is not ready yet in El Salvador. But if you're in Miami tonight, come down to Epic Talks. Buy a ticket online, 2-for-1 tickets, $150 for 2 tickets. So $75 a ticket. Right here, general admission. You can also buy the VIP ticket. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you all on the next one. Bye, guys. Hey, Satoshi, wake up the doggy here. Come on, say hi. He's not happy. There he is. Yeah, he's he's like, leave me alone. Bye, guys.